Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. My name's Phil. It's Monday night. We want your views. We want your news. There's Mel. I couldn't even press the right buttons. What are you doing, Phil? Come on. Just because it's summer, I think I can't control anything. Get your views in. Get your comments in. Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. If you're watching this live, we want to hear from you. During the show, we can put your comments up on the screen. If you're watching this on playback on YouTube or wherever you are, join us every Monday night at 7:30. We will talk about all the transfer news, views, gossip, whatever you want to talk about. We've got loads of gossip to talk about tonight. Philippe Coutinho, would you be interested in him? He's going to be expensive to pay every week, but he is certainly that top level. What do you reckon, Tim? Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, again being rumoured to be linked with Leicester. What do you reckon to the Ox? Would you have him here at Leicester or not? Does he improve our team or not? We want your views. We've got loads of other transfer comments and questions coming in. Let's get a few good evenings to you. Jason Mills, good evening, sir. How are you? Hope you're well. Liam, how are you? Good evening. Ben, I hope you're well. Gray, good evening, he says, fellow Foxes. I hope you're well, Gray. Kane says, come on, Leicester. Yeah, come on, Leicester. How are we doing in the Euros? How are the Leicester players doing? Casper, being a hero again. We'll be talking about that later if you want to. Danny Ward did pretty well for Wales in goal. And obviously, Yuri Tillemans. Timmy Castagna, what's gone on there? We're going to be talking about Timmy. We want to know what you think. Andy saying, yes, Coutinho to Leicester rumours again. Well, link you up with Brendan Rodgers. Andy, would you have him? Would you have him or not? Good evening to Jono. Malky Wade is watching Jono. Transfer rumours. Would you have Coutinho to Leicester or not? Auntie Karen, hope you're well. Get your views in. Mirko is watching out in Holland. Mirko, I take it you are a Dutch fan as well. Did you watch that game last night? Really enjoyed that. What a great game it was. Great second half. Danny says the Ox is too injury prone. I'm probably going to agree with you there. I think he's a good player, a bit like Danny Welbeck. Good players, but just a bit too injury. Jason says he's all good. Glad to hear that, Jason. He says, how much is Vardy on? 150 grand a week, surely? Yeah, the rumours are it is about that. He says, surely that would be enough to convince Coutinho to come to Leicester. Maybe he wants more than that, Jason. What do you think it would cost? Lewis says Coutinho won't happen. It's been well rumoured. We're being well linked with him in it. So it's an interesting one. John O'Wade says yes to Coutinho and yes to the Ox. Would be super additions. Thank you, Jono. Do you agree with what Wade says there or not? Let me know what your views are. Other rumours we've got is Robin Guzans. Am I saying that right? Atlanta plays with Timmy Castagna or did do. Would he be a good addition? Want to know what you think on that. Still being linked with Edouard. I believe he's being also linked with Villa at the moment. So we don't want to lose out to Villa. Again, like I think we did last summer. Ollie Watkins, I still say we should have signed him. But and then there's Sumer. Loads of transfer rumours. Lots of people being put in there. Adam, again, Chris says, Coutinho and Ox can only see Yuri and possibly Perez being sold. Andy saying, can you put a price on Champions League football? I think you can. I think it's £80 million, Andy, is the price if you get into it. Karen says definitely have Coutinho, but not the Ox. Jason saying I think this is Coutinho, would take him if there's a pay cut. Keep getting your comments in. We want as many as we can get there. I'll keep putting them on screen and we'll try and react to as many as possible. Jason saying he must be on 200 grand a week or more. He probably is. Carlos, good evening. Neil, I just can't see Coutinho coming to Leicester. Listen, I've said before, what I would love to see Leicester do, and I know some of you will disagree, I would love to see Leicester make what I call a marquee signing, which says, we are here. We are absolutely vying for top four. We are absolutely going for Champions League. We're being serious. And I think Coutinho would send out that message. Do you agree with me or not? Listen, Sinky has been away for a couple of weeks. Let's see what his tan's like. Let's see what he thinks about all these transfer rumours. The legend that is John Sinclair, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you. I don't get tans very much. I keep my hat on with a bald head.
I can see you, John. I can see you in a big Panama.
No, I'm more a baseball cap person, to be fair.
Yeah, you're true.
Disappoint.
You are right, though. That tan is not developing very well, even though you've been in sunny Wales, haven't you, for a bit of a holiday?
I just try to protect myself a little bit. But it was very sunny, and we're still enjoying that at the moment. And you mentioned quite a few of the rumours going around, Coutinho being one of them. What they sold him, for 142 million to Liverpool to get three big players in return. I think he was signed, wasn't he, by the manager Brendan Rodgers for about 8.5 million back in the day. So he obviously rates him, and they obviously know each other. So that may help if they want to bring him to Leicester. But as you say, the wages might be an issue. But I get the feeling, like you said, that Leicester will have ambition to go one step further next season. Why couldn't they? We've seen obviously we've had a good season winning the FA Cup, but I think the league was again disappointing, even though they finished fifth, which seemed ridiculous to talk about that. I remember back in the day that actually getting into the Premier League and staying there was an achievement. So how things have moved on, really. But Coutinho, if they think you can do it financially,
would you take him, John? Would you take him?
A player in who's got some standing and is well known and has got ability would make a statement in a way, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's my thinking, John. Is I think it does. I think I'm ready now for us to make a statement like that as a club, where you sign somebody and a few other clubs sort of do a bit of a sideways look and go, Leicester just signed Philip Coutinho from Barcelona, and I'm not getting big-headed as a Leicester fan, but I want us to maybe think, that would make some of the younger players go, okay, I might stick around at Leicester a bit longer. You were talking just before we came on air about Yuri Tielemans and Ndidi. Would Coutinho sort of signing help them stick at Leicester?
The other aspect of being a bigger club is not letting people go. Now, Tielemans was asked about the rumours today in a press conference, and he basically said, I'm not interested in talking about these sort of things while the Euros are going on. So obviously he's putting that to one side, but keeping on with Tielemans, and they have been talking about trying to extend his contract. And if Leicester managed to do that and keep him, that also makes a statement to me that keeping players is as important. We've talked about this before, we seem to lose a major player, if you like, every summer. And I'd like to see that stop. And I think the fans would as well. Why should we have to sell? But obviously, not making the Champions League might be a factor.
Yes, I think it will, John.
Or in the Champions League, they might think. But it depends how they feel about the club. Because if they're comfortable at the club and they enjoy being around Leicester, and why wouldn't they with the training facilities they've got and everything, then hopefully they'd be persuaded to stay. So let's hope that does happen. But obviously that we'll have to wait and see how that develops.
I mean, Karen says, and I do like this, she says, at least Coutinho has some first-team Premier League experience. He does come, we know he's done it. That season also at Liverpool, he had a tremendous season, didn't he, before he left? It's not quite, well, he went on, I think he went to Bayern Munich, and he went to Barcelona. He's been on loan at Bayern Munich, I think, John.
Yeah.
Scored a few goals there at Bayern Munich, but it's not quite worked for him at Barca.
No, it's not. And so he probably would be looking to move. And I think moving to a manager who knows him well would obviously make him probably feel more comfortable. So that kind of adds to the possibility that it might happen. But, we'll have to wait. It's a wait and see game on that one. I'd like to talk about Kasper, though, if we could, briefly, because obviously we've seen what he's been like at Leicester in difficult situations. And obviously he dealt with the situation that the Denmark team had to deal with. He kind of organised them around, the player that went down, Christian Eriksen. And it was a terrible time. Like you, I was probably watching the game live, and it was really almost hard to watch. And I think Lineker dealt with it quite well as well. And obviously had to cut away, but thank goodness Eriksen has recovered. But Kasper again showing how good he is in those sort of situations.
It was a tough watch, John. I was at a family barbecue on Saturday, and it was sort of on in the background on the side, and we saw something had happened, so we wandered over, and then you're sort of like transfixed by it and don't want to watch it at the same time because, like you say, the pictures were pretty horrific. You could see what was going on, but again, you could see that Kasper was one of those players. He is a true leader on and off the pitch, isn't he?
Yeah, and he went to see his other half as well, didn't he? And assure her that he was alive and so on. And, he's very good in those situations, isn't he? And interesting that his father Peter criticised the fact they had to play the game later. I was a little surprised actually that did happen. I couldn't see how the players could kind of carry on. Okay, Ericsson recovered, but it must have shook them up something chronic really. And I think a delay of 24 hours wouldn't have been a bad thing, but.
I know it was quite a while ago, but obviously it's similar happened in a Leicester match, which was Clive Clark when we played away at Forest. I was at that away game, and it happened at half time. And again, they abandoned the game there when Clive Clark had that. He had a heart attack, and it was quite chaotic to know what was going on as a fan. And there was some incident. I mean, it was Leicester Forest, but it was. It was very chaotic at the end of the game, John. So I don't know if that was part of the consideration. They thought we got the crowd here, but you're never going to get it quite right, are you, in that sort of situation? Yeah,
obviously not on the same level, but Castagna got a bit of an injury, eye socket injury. That's going to keep him out for the tournament now, obviously, I think. And let's hope he recovers quickly. It was a nasty one, really.
It was nasty.
Yeah, I felt sorry for him, really, because, it was nice to see him and Tillemans in the team. But, that sort of injury is pretty horrible.
He may, John, but he may not be back for the start of the season with that sort of injury. I mean, sometimes that can keep you out for only 2 or 3 weeks. He's certainly out the Euros now. But they often wear one of these Phantom of the Opera masks and can come back to playing with this sort of injury, can't they?
Yeah, it depends how serious it is and how he recovers from it. But that'll be a wait and see. But like you say, they can wear masks now to give them that extra bit of protection. I suppose what we mentioned, Leicester players and Euros.
I've got to change the subject, John.
Oh, go on.
Young is watching. He says, Sinky,
oh, is he?
How are you?
I was only thinking about him today, actually. I hope he's enjoying it. I feel for. Better not mention the Scotland result.
Well, I didn't watch it, John. Much of it. I had it on in the background at work. What sort of happened in the Scotland game? I thought they were going to do well.
Well, they had chances, to be honest. I thought they could have put 1 or 2 goals away, and I had predicted a draw for that. But they've now got to play England, of course, on Friday. We ought to get Youngie on a Friday.
I know.
Night.
Well, Youngie will be cheering the Scots on. He really will.
Of course he will.
So, of course he will. And quite rightly too.
I did actually speak to him some time ago. I'm glad he's around.
Just coming back to Castagna, Stephen says it's a double fracture. He'll be out for 6 weeks, he believes. So that wouldn't be back in time for the start of the season quite. Calabro here on YouTube is saying, look, mate, and he's not a Leicester fan, but that's fine. We know we have other fans watching. He says, got huge respect for Leicester, but come on, it's impossible that you sign Coutinho. He is in Barcelona and played for Liverpool and Bayern Munich. He wouldn't want to go there. John, react to that.
Well, it depends on Brendan Rodgers, doesn't it? Because I think that might be the factor. But yeah, I can see what he's saying, that we're not in the same region as those sort of clubs, a club that's rising up the table, you might say. But you never know. I can see why he would say, can't see it happening. But I'm a wait and see. It might not, but it might.
I've seen stranger things happen at Leicester. You never know. We did go and win the Premier League that nobody thought would happen. So signing Philip Coutinho wouldn't be that much of a shock after what's happened. Yeah, John, you were going to say another transfer rumour that you'd heard of.
Well, we've got a few strikers being linked with quite young strikers. There's Eduard, you mentioned in the intro, has also been linked with Aston Villa. No deal yet, they're saying, but they hope to get an agreement there. He's a young striker. And we've also been linked with another young striker called Patson Dako, who plays for RB Salzburg. He's a Zambian player. Scored quite a few goals last season, 29 goals in 36 games. They're talking around the 17 million range. Quite a young player as well, like Eduard. So we wait and see on that, because adding an extra striker might give the manager a few options. So he's obviously looking at players like that.
I think we've got it, John. I think there's a few. I think we need to sign a few players actually this summer because we've let, not surprisingly, about 8 or 9 players go. Wes has gone. Christian Fuchs has gone. Matty James has gone. These are all not surprising ones, but we've also let, obviously Damari Gray go, Islam Slimani last year. There's 9 or 10 out the squad gone, and Jamie Vardy is, still getting on towards 35 next season. Surely we need a striker, John.
Yeah, I definitely would put a striker in there. Yeah,
we definitely need one striker at least, maybe two.
Another central defender.
I agree. A central defender. Totally agree with you. And there's Tarkowski. There was another player. Who were you talking about? Another defender from, was it Stoke or something?
Nathan Collins have been linked with, the Stoke City centre back.
So I agree. A striker,
I've seen.
A centre back.
I think probably, I know Castagna prefers to play on the right side. He might look at, with Fuchsy gone, he might look at somebody else who can play down the left side, either a left back or a left wing back. So that might be another area. Depending on what happens as well, the centre midfield looks quite good at the moment. You've got your Mendes and so on who can come on, but you might look to strengthen that area as well. So I think, across the pitch, you're looking here and there for cover, given the players, as you said, that have left as well. So,
and I mean, John, I was going to say, we touched on maybe a winger even. I mean, we're definitely not going to sign him, I think, are we? Did you see him come on for Turkey?
Yeah, I did actually. I thought he looked quite lively, to be honest. He looked quite lively when he did come on for Leicester. He just didn't have the end product. I remember him scoring one particular decent goal. But, I quite liked him, but he just didn't settle in. So sometimes you can hope a player, settles in and comes good, but it just didn't happen with him.
Yeah, and just while we're talking about we're not really here to talk about the Euros, but Soyuncu for Turkey, I thought had a bit of a nightmare, if I'm honest, John, against Italy. I don't know if it was Italy were very good or Turkey, the team around Soyuncu wasn't very good. He was lucky, I thought, not to get sent off, John. He had at least 3 yellow card bookings and one, which I think was possibly even a red card. And what was your take on Soyuncu?
I'm going to defend him and say he was trying to get his team going. I saw him kind of trying to organise them early in the game. He got a bit frustrated and got a yellow card. But I always liked him personally. I know he can be a bit kind of unpredictable here and there, but I think that's why I like him in some ways. But yeah, Turkey obviously well beaten. Italy very good indeed. Yeah,
indeed. I've just got a comment here for you. Kieran is talking about Bertrand, who we were heavily linked with about a week ago. But he's saying he's not coming because we just made a bid for Guzans. Now, Guzans is 26-year-old. We did mention him earlier, played for Atalanta, played with Timmy Castagna there. Decent player, been in the German national squad, I believe, John.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder now if Castagna's got a bit of time, he might talk to him and tell him how good the club is and that sort of thing. And sometimes players who have moved can persuade other players that it might be a good move for them. So those sort of things might help. But yeah, he looks decent, doesn't he? So I wouldn't be too. I wouldn't say no to him coming.
Talking about £25 million for him, John. That's the rumour that Leicester would offer, but Atalanta are thinking more like 35 million.
Well, somewhere in the middle there, 30 might do. But I get the impression from what the chairman was saying after the FA Cup win that, they will put money behind the manager, and let's hope they do, because, want to have another big season, as you say, ambitions for the Champions League. Now we've got the FA Cup out of the way. That would be so good. And the fixtures, by the way, will be published at 9 a.m. on Wednesday. And then I think BT Sport will have first dig at some of the games in August and September. But it's always exciting when the fixtures come out, isn't it?
Oh, I love it, John. Love it. It gets you, already. It feels like this season's only just finished and we're already looking forward to the next one. And the Euros, it's busy. Scott says here, he says, Yuri Tielemans isn't going anywhere, by the way. He says, save that statement and have a good feeling. I don't think I feel like somebody might leave Leicester because I think we will sell somebody for 50 to 70 million. I don't think it'd be Yuri Tielemans. I don't think it'd be Ndidi. Who do you think it could be, John, if we have to sell somebody?
Well, let me think about that one. I'm talking about why would Tielemans want to go? He just scored in the FA Cup. He's playing for a team that might possibly win the Euros. Come back to Leicester.
Well, yeah, would that... I mean, would you worry, John, if Tielemans and Belgium go on and do really well, would you worry that might really put Tielemans in that massive shop window?
Well, he's in the shop window anyway because of what he did for us. I just think he's a great player, but I think he's very settled at Leicester. And I would hope that Brendan can persuade him to extend his contract. Fingers crossed that might happen. And sorry, what was the question before? Who might leave? Hey.
Yeah.
I don't even want to go there. Why would anybody want to leave?
Unless says Maddison. I mean, a few people will put in here Madders as the one who might go.
You mentioned Perez, and perhaps that might happen. He's become a bit of a bit player for Leicester a little bit. Bit disappointed that he didn't come in and make a bigger impact, really. But I wouldn't say I didn't like him, but it's possible that some of the fringy players, they might get offers for them, maybe.
Yeah, indeed. Dave, just complete change of subject slightly. Dave's talking about Kieran Dewsbury Hall. He's saying Rodgers is going to monitor him in pre-season to consider him for the first team. Maybe worth considering over a new midfield signing. He looks a decent young lad.
He does. Yeah, he does. We saw a little bit of him, didn't we, last season? And have got good guys coming through, through the academy and so on. We saw what Andy King did when he came up through the ranks. And it's always good to see players progress, from the youth team upwards. And he does look like a manager, Brendan, doesn't he, that likes to encourage that. James Justin coming in. And of course, we've missed him, haven't we? You have to wait a little while for Justin to come back. But, he can pick a player in the transfer market and can also bring players through. So there's lots to look forward to there, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I remember it was Elliot Moore, who was a big centre-back for Leicester, been at the club for many, many years. We let him go I think it was about a year, 18 months ago, maybe a little bit longer. He went off to Oxford, a big centre-back. Yeah. And there's times where I think, we're looking for a nice big centre-back to add in there. And we sort of maybe had one that we'd brought up through the ranks at Leicester who didn't really want to leave. And he's gone off to Oxford and done, I know it's a step down, but he's done really quite well there, John.
Yeah, I suppose partly it's, Leicester are kind of up there with the big boys a little bit now. And sometimes it might be a little bit too much of a jump for some of the young players to be suddenly put in. Obviously you can use the cup games a little bit to try and incorporate them in the squad, if you like. But it's the manager's got to kind of judge whether they can make that step, I guess.
John O'Wade says here, any news on the Barnes injury? It'd be like having a new player back, John. Do you know what? He would. We were watching the England game yesterday and we said, do you know what? Harvey Barnes would slot nicely into this squad when he was on good form. You forget because we spent half the season without Harvey Barnes.
I forgot until you just mentioned it.
Well, yeah, that's what Jonathan Wade's saying here. He says it'd be like having a new player top back. When Barnes is back, and like you say, James Justin, it's like getting like 50, 60 million pounds worth of players back, isn't it?
Yeah, it is indeed. And Barnes was great. And he was on a run where he was scoring more goals because that was the criticism before, wasn't it? That, he's getting chances and not taking them. And he was, unfortunate to get that injury. But yeah, two players there, as you say. Look forward to them coming back because we know what an impression they can make on the game.
Yeah, Craig's saying about James Justin's injury situation as well. It's a long one. He's got the same sort of injury, I believe, as Ricardo Pereira. And I believe I'm right in saying Ricardo Pereira wasn't really fit at the end of last season, which is why he was a bit in and out. And Brendan Rodgers said as much. He said, Ricardo, it's going to take him till next season to be back. And then some of these injuries, John, it's a big one, what James Justin had.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember when they said, were they talking about autumn time, I think.
I think it will. It won't be for the start of the new season, James Justin. It will be. It'll be a slow one. So it's such a shame because he was having a tremendous season, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. I really liked him as a player and he really fitted in, scored some nice goals, scored a particularly nice goal, I remember as well.
Yeah, Patrick's saying he thinks he might be out till Christmas. It is a big injury. It's not a quick recovery. So Patrick could well be right. Yeah, indeed, John. I think we've gone through a lot of the transfer gossip there, which is great. We've touched on some of the Leicester players who are in the Euros. Go on. Have you got any more for us?
Well, I just wanted to mention Danny Ward for Wales because
Yes.
he had a good game. We know he can come in and do a good job for Leicester when he's required to do so in the cup games and so on. What a good understudy to Schmeichel. I mean, and it's good to see him, playing for his country as well, isn't it?
I think Danny Ward, to be fair, John, I mean, he came to us obviously from Liverpool as their sort of reserve keeper, but the Liverpool fans did rate him. I know that from speaking to him. And whenever I've seen Danny Ward, I do rate him. I almost feel like he's too good to be sat on Leicester's bench, really, as a keeper. You think, surely he could probably play for another Premier League side as a first-team keeper. He would certainly play in most top championship sides. It's a tough one because I think he only played 2 or 3 games for us last season, John, and yet you see him playing in the Euros for Wales. It's strange, isn't it?
Yeah, it is in a way, but he's obviously happy at Leicester. I don't hear any rumours about him wanting to go, but as you say, we see his qualities here and there. It's good to see him involved in the Euros. Would they sell him if there was an offer? We'd have to wait and see. But it's good that we've got some good cover because, fingers crossed Casper wouldn't get injured, but good to have that sort of cover available, should the worst happen. Yeah,
indeed, John. England then against Scotland.
Yeah.
How many are we going to win by, John?
Well, I'd go for a 2-0 if you ask me now. I thought England were very good. I was disappointed Grealish wasn't in the starting lineup because
me too. I know we all hate him in Villa. We hate him in the Villa shirts, but to be fair, he's a player you want on your side, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. But it was good to see the fact that we scored a good goal, and you've got to praise the way they played, and you've got to praise the manager because he knew exactly what he wanted. He wasn't listening to what everybody else thought they should do. He just got on with it, put the team out there, and it was a deserved win. And really, I was hoping they would get a second goal and just make me feel more comfortable because it's not very nice when it's 1-0, is it? But Kane a bit unlucky not to get a goal. He hit the post himself rather than anything else. But it's a real lift because we haven't won the opening game in the Euros before, so we're in a different area. Scotland will be looking to get over that defeat today. I've got to be careful what I say now because Alan Young might be there.
Young will have you if you say anything bad about Scotland.
I know, but to be fair, you're looking at the two teams, you'd fancy England to win it anyway, wouldn't you?
Yeah, indeed.
I say that with respect to Alan.
Indeed. I mean, England always remind me of Leicester. I was saying this in the pub yesterday while I was watching it. I said, up until a few years ago, Leicester would always get you to almost over the line and then let you down right at the end, whether it was an FA Cup semi-final or whatever. England are just the same in my lifestyle. But the thing is, Leicester have started getting us over the line now. We've done these things. Yeah.
We won the FA Cup now. So maybe England can do the same and win this one.
It would complete my set if England could actually win something. That would be lovely. Because like you, none of us have seen it for many.
No, I saw it in '66, mate.
John, I was being complimentary. I was saying you're too young to have seen it, mate. You've just blown it.
Anyway.
So most of us have never seen it because we're too young, myself included. But Sinky well remembers it. He was in his mid-40s when England won the World Cup in 1966. John, we best go because it's nearly kick-off time. I'm going to go and watch it. Spain v. Who is it? I'm just checking. I know it's Spain.
Spain versus Sweden.
Sweden. Yes.
Yeah. So
good. It should be a good game. Score predictions. Spain will win, I think. Don't you?
I'll go for 3-1.
All right, then. Well, let's get those in. Sinky, it's been absolutely fantastic having you with us again. Hopefully we'll see you very, very soon on a Monday night.
Okay. Nice to see you as well.
Brilliant. Thanks, John.
See you, Alan. Love you, Alan.
Yes. See you soon. Cheers, Sinky.
Okay, bye.
let Sinky go so he can go and watch Spain against Sweden. Keep getting your comments in. Jono, thanks for that. Great. Who won the shirts? Great. You have to check back on we did it in a video. We did it on, do you know what? I can remember the date. We did it on May the 10th because it was the Wembley Cup shirt. We sent it off. They got it in time for Wembley. Great. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. Ross, you're late, says great. That's it. Pontus Kamart, come on. Remembering great Swedes. Jari Rantanen. Oh, I've just gone there. Jari Rantanen. Do you remember him, the mighty Finn? How many other Swedish and Spanish players have we had? Ross says he'd love to see Youngie and Sinky on Leicester Fan TV. It'd be like Radio Leicester all over again. It would be absolutely fantastic. We hope Youngie is well. It's great to have him watching. Thanks for all your views. Thanks for all your comments. It's been great chatting with you. Jack is live this Wednesday. I'm not quite sure what time Jack is live this week. It's normally about 8 o'clock. It might be a bit earlier because of the Euros. And then Jamie is live from the Fox's Arms on Sunday, and I'm back on next Monday. Don't forget, we will go live if there is any actual breaking transfer news. You never know. It could happen at any time. But in the meantime, we'll just keep giving you all the rumours and all the gossip because that's what we know we all want to talk about. So from me, Phil, don't forget, do follow us wherever you are at Leicester Fan TV. Absolutely brilliant to get more and more of you doing that. And join us live every Monday night at 7:30. See you soon.
Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. With special thanks to our pals at ADT Taxis, Feed Me, Piglet's Pantry, Tiger, Leicester Garage Conversions, Pink Vehicle Leasing, Hologram, The Fox's Arms, Moyer Wade Interiors, and our chosen charity, Men's UK. We bring you the fans' views on the match each week, and your views matter to us. Join the fans debate each match with us. Follow us at Leicester Fan TV.
Yeah, somebody's just said Jari Rantanen was Finnish. He wasn't Swedish. I am an utter idiot for saying that. See you later.